Welcome to the eForms video tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will be looking at the eMortgage form. The first box of the mortgage is where you will define the type of document you want to file. You have four options to choose from: mortgage, mortgage of mortgage, encumbrance, and mortgage of encumbrance. If you select mortgage of mortgage or mortgage of encumbrance, you will have to provide the instrument number that this instrument will affect. Box 2 will be labeled as either mortgagor or grantor of encumbrance, depending on the option selected in Box 1. If you select individual, you will have to provide a full name. It is here that you will indicate if the document is to be signed on behalf of the mortgagor or grantor of encumbrance by a third party, such as a committee, or pursuant to a power of attorney. Selecting that this document will be signed pursuant to a court order will open additional fields to be completed. Corporation is very similar to individual in that you need to provide a name, and you have the option to indicate that the document will be signed pursuant to a power of attorney or a court order. Where the title or interest affected is held in the name of a trust, you can select the type of trust. The most common would be executor or administrator. When one of these options is selected, various subfields will open up and will have to be completed. Bankruptcy, religious society, and cemetery trust are the other trusts that can be selected. The first part of Box 3 is for the land description that the mortgage will be registered against. As with other options, you have the ability to add multiple land descriptions with the plus sign. You have the option to choose all or part of a title, all units in a condominium plan, or all lots, blocks, and parcels in a plan. If you select the all or part of a title option, you will immediately be able to provide the title numbers against which the mortgage will be registered. The two options are current title number or issuing from title number. The issuing from title number would be used if a title creating document is being filed prior to the mortgage, and you would not know the current title number at the time of completion. Choose whichever option is most appropriate, and then choose whether the mortgage will be registered against all or only part of that title. You will only need to provide the land description for this title number. If you choose all units in a condominium plan, or all lots, blocks, and parcels in a plan, then you will need to provide either the deposit number or the plan number, as well as the office name from the drop-down menu. You will then have the option to select current title number or issuing from title number. If there are multiple titles in that condominium plan, you can enter them here. The land description will automatically populate itself for you based on the option you select. The process is very similar if you select all lots, blocks, and parcels in a plan. The next part of this box is reserved for listing the instruments that this mortgage will be made subject to. You have the option to list instruments currently on title, instruments that are registered prior in series, or a combination of the two. For instruments that are currently on title, you will need to provide the instrument numbers. For instruments that are being registered prior hereto in series with your mortgage, instruments that will not yet be registered, you will select an instrument type from the drop-down list. Box 4 will be for the mortgagee or encumbrancer. The information again will be dependent upon what has been selected in Box 1. The option for mortgagee or encumbrancer in this box are individual, corporation, executor administrator, and government agency. For each option, you will need to provide the name and an address for service. For some options, such as executor, you will need to provide additional details. For example, you will have to provide the name of the deceased, and you will need to choose the type of executor. Finally, if you choose, you can enter into Box 4 certain optional information concerning how the mortgagees or encumbrances will hold the mortgage, the contributions they have made, and the rights they will have. These entries are entirely optional. You can indicate the share or fractional interest of the monies contributed by each of the mortgagees or encumbrances. This is done by entering the percentage in the percentage box below each name. If you choose to indicate contribution percentages, they must add up to 100%. If the mortgagees or encumbrances are to hold the mortgage or the encumbrance jointly, you can indicate this in this box. There is also a box available to provide any details of the agreement for sharing the proceeds of the mortgage if desired. Box 5 is where you will list all of the terms and payment provisions. This is where you can add details such as the principal amount, payment amounts, details of the standard charge mortgage terms, and interest rate. In the section titled Additional Provisions, there are numerous selectable options, certain of which open up free form text boxes. All of the additional terms and provisions of the mortgage or the encumbrance are to be provided in these boxes. This is where you can add details of a collateral mortgage or prepayment terms, for example. Fill in as many of these boxes as are applicable. Schedules are not necessary and cannot be attached. If you indicate that the covenantor will be signing, a separate signature page will be created for them when the form is locked. This box as you see it now is how it would look like if mortgage, mortgage of mortgage, or mortgage of encumbrance were selected in box 1. The fields in the box will vary quite a bit if encumbrance was selected in box 1. Farmlands Ownership Act evidence is provided in box 6. If you select one of the first 3 options, the most commonly provided evidence, no other information is required. If you select the other option, you will need to enter a statement in the box below explaining why the instrument does not contravene the Farmlands Ownership Act. Box 7 is the last box of the content page of the e-mortgage form, and this is where you'll provide contact information for the person who prepared the document. When the document is fully completed, you can save the completed form using the Save As from the File menu, then select the Lock Form and Create Signature Pages icon. Save the locked form using the Save As from the File menu under a different name than you used prior to locking the form. Let's go to a form that has already been filled out to look at the signing pages in more detail. This example represents the most common type of mortgage. The mortgagor is an individual. The mortgage is being registered against one title with no prior encumbrances. The mortgagee is a bank. The terms and provisions have been provided, and a covenantor will be signing. The land is not farmland. The first signature page is for the covenantor. There is space for one or more covenantors to sign and for a witness. A second covenantor can be added with the plus button. Next signature page is reserved for the mortgagor or encumbrancy. The evidence statements at the top have been completed based on the information that you enter in the form. However, you are still required to select the appropriate Homelands Act evidence statement. You can then enter the witness details. The document will then be ready to print. This completes the tutorial on the e-mortgage form.